Hey friends, it's Wilk, and before we get started with this week's episode, I want to mention a couple things real quick about a couple affiliates. Affiliates help me keep the show going, and by you using the services of one of our affiliates, I get a little kickback at no extra cost to you. So if you've ever thought about starting a podcast, Buzzsprout is a great place to start. They have some phenomenal tools, and starting a podcast is a lot easier when you've got the right tools. So join over 100,000 other people who've started a podcast with Buzzsprout, and if you click the link to them in our show notes, I'll get a little bit of something for every paid membership. So I would really appreciate that. Helps a lot to support the show. Also, online grocery shopping, it's a big thing right now, especially with the pandemic and the lockdowns and people, being sketchy about going out in the public. If you want to do some grocery shopping at home in a quick, convenient way and have that stuff delivered to your house, check out Instacart. Instacart is a phenomenal way for people to buy groceries online and have them conveniently delivered to their house. So, again, in our show notes, check out one of the banner ads, check out the links. Instacart is a great way to do a little bit of online grocery shopping and have it conveniently delivered to your house. So with that, we're going to dive right into the show. Welcome back, my friends, to the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I am Wilk from wilksworld.com, and this is going to be episode 31 of the D-Rate the Hate podcast. And I'm back in our Wilkesville studios now, back out of the woods. I had a great time up north in the woods deer hunting, and this week I had to come back to reality, get back to real life, and back here at home and doing the podcast tonight. So episode 31 of the D-Rate the Hate podcast is going to be called Ugly Oftentimes Has Nothing to Do with Looks. So first things first, I want to ask you a couple questions. What have you done today to make your life a better life? What have you done today to make the world a better place? The D-Rate the Hate podcast is all about bettering the world one attitude at a time, and that's upon each of us as an individual to make that happen. So what have you done today to make your life a better life? What have you done today to make the world a better place? So why do I say ugly oftentimes has nothing to do with looks? Is because there is nothing quite so ugly as somebody who treats another badly or demonizes those with which they disagree. And I think this is one of the biggest problems we find in society today. And not only society, but on the news and social media, and everybody that's listened to the podcast knows how I feel about the news and knows how I feel about social media. But the reality of it is if we continue as a society to demonize those with which we disagree, we are never going to get anywhere. And I want you to really think about something. I want you to think about the way that you treat people, and I know I've talked about this in previous episodes, and I will continue to bring it up, because this podcast, as I always say, is supposed to be bettering the world one attitude at a time. That starts with each of us as an individual. When you think about how others treat people, I mean, the reality is people are constantly, especially growing up as kids or people are cruel. People are always going to be cruel. There's a mean streak in almost everybody, and we think about people making fun of people because of their looks or bullying people because of their looks, but it's really not always about looks. And quite honestly, as we get older and we gain more wisdom and we realize that people are much more about who they are and what their soul, what kind of person they are, than what they look like or how they present themselves physically. There's people out there that just have an unbelievably beautiful soul, and they will always be more attractive and more beautiful than those who may be aesthetically absolutely beautiful. But those people, what I see nowadays so often, again in the news and in the big social media and stuff like that, is these so-called movie stars and these people that are supposed to be these icons that people are they expect people to worship them and whatever, and they are aesthetically, they're beautiful. They do a great job acting in movies and everything else, but they are just the ugliest people in the world because of the soul that they present to the world on their whether it be their social media or whatever platform they're spewing their vile and hateful garbage. Those people are so ugly. So when I say episode 31, ugly, oftentimes has nothing to do with looks. I am talking about not only the Hollywood types, and everybody knows the Hollywood types and those that have the big platforms and make the most noise, but think about the people that are in your life. Think about those people that are around you, and especially now with what we've seen over the past couple months and couple years, and think about the way that people have changed over the past couple years, and the way that they've treated others with whom they disagree. A lot of my previous episodes, I talk about, being labeled and being put in a box, and having a label put on that box, and then the different things that people have been saying to each other. I guess I can't stress this enough because I've seen it too much in my personal life, in my work life, the garbage that I see on social media and in the news, and there's just so much ugliness out there, where people can't just agree to disagree anymore. They want to demonize. They want to destroy those with whom they disagree. Never in my life did I think I would see a time where people would be shouted down in a restaurant, or harassed and berated in a restaurant or in a public setting because they had a different belief, or they had a hat on that somebody didn't like. I mean, when did we get to a point in society where because of something that you have on your T-shirt or because of something that you have on your hat, somebody else had the gall, somebody else had the wherewithal to come up and not even wherewithal, that was a horrible word to use there, I don't even know why I used it, but somebody had the nerve. Somebody had the nerve to come up to somebody because of a hat that they had on, or because of a shirt that they had on with a certain slogan, or because of a bumper sticker on their car. When did we become a society where it was okay and accepted for somebody to come up and just start berating or shouting down somebody when they're in a restaurant with their family, or they're doing business in a certain place, or you start to berate or try to destroy a business? When did we become that society? When did we become that kind of person, or that kind of people, rather? Because that's not the America that I grew up in. That's not the way that I was raised, and certainly my parents would have never found that to be an acceptable behavior. We've seen in recent times, we've seen senators that want to destroy a person's reputation, want to destroy a person, and go back through every aspect of their life and try to make up the most vile and hideous things that a person could ever be accused of, to try and keep them off the Supreme Court. I mean, that's just an example of one of the things that we've seen. We've seen people that public figures that were in a restaurant with their family, and we have certain groups of thugs and miscreants and just overall horrible people that will go into a restaurant and spit in somebody's food or spit on somebody's family or scream at them in a public setting. When did we become that kind of a society? Because it certainly wasn't like that when I grew up. This is all new in recent times, and quite honestly, there's nothing quite so ugly as somebody who would try to destroy and demonize another person for having an opposing point of view, and when we got to the point as a society, and this is partially my opinion, but this is only a small part of it. But when we got to a point where it was not simply people having opposing views, but it became evil versus good. I do believe that there is a lot of evil in politics. I do believe that there is a lot of evil in our current media settings and media platforms and big tech platforms. I do believe, honestly, that there's a lot of evil there. But I believe that the people who are buying into that are generally very good people who may be naive and may not really understand the total gravity of everything that's going on. And they just want something to believe in, so they're grabbing hold of those pieces of information that they're getting from these different platforms that really take advantage of people's fears and people's emotions. And as such, it's gotten way out of control. It's gotten way out of control. And the reality is, I think the vast majority of the people aren't on one side or the other, meaning one side is evil and one side is good. I think the vast majority of people just want something to believe in, and they're grabbing a hold of something. And sometimes those things that they're grabbing a hold of are evil and good. But the reality is we as individuals have to keep our minds about us. We have to keep logic and reason at the forefront and not allow our emotions to get a hold of us and start to dictate our actions. As I talk about constantly in the Derate the Hate podcast, we cannot allow our emotions to dictate our actions. And that is exactly what is happening when we see a lot of these people that will begin to demonize and castigate and shout down and try to destroy those with whom they disagree. We have to get away from that, and because, like I said, there's nothing quite so ugly as those who would demonize or try to destroy those with whom they disagree. And we see that all the time. Like I said, we see that all the time in the news. We see that all the time in the media. We see that all the time in the big tech and social media platforms. But we as individuals, you, me, all those individuals that we interact with on a daily basis, those people that are real life, those people that are real and tangible and right in front of us, we have to be the ones that overcome that. We cannot allow that outside noise, those big platforms, to destroy us as an individual. And it's happening, and we have to resist. We have to fight that. We have to allow our own logic, our own reason, our own wisdom to overpower all that outside noise. So, again, what have you done today to make the world a better place? What have you done today to make your life a better life? Those two questions are so important in everything that we try to do with the Derate the Hate podcast. Because, again, we are trying to better the world one attitude at a time. Your attitude, my children's attitude, my friend's attitude, your friend's attitude. Each of us as an individual, all of us have to be cognizant of what we are absorbing and how that's affecting us. So don't allow that outside noise to make you ugly, because there is nothing quite so ugly as someone who would allow or there's nothing quite so ugly as those who would demonize and try to destroy those with whom they disagree. So again, just keep your wits about you. Use logic and reason. Don't allow your emotions to get the best of you. So with that, I'm going to jump into this week's feel-good story. The feel-good story this week again comes to us from the Good News Network. I'm beginning to like that site more and more. But the GoodNewsNetwork.org had a story this week about a youngster in Iowa. So for those who didn't see it, back in August, what's called a derecho, big mean windstorm hit parts of Iowa, with winds reaching up to 140 miles an hour. Just a lot of destruction, a lot of devastation, and 12-year-old Tommy Rhomberg, they didn't have any damage to their place. But, he had a friend that he wanted to give a special birthday gift. So, obviously, he's got some woodworking skills. He was able to fashion a homemade bat for his friend who loves baseball, right? And when other people found out about the homemade bat, they asked Tommy Rhomberg how they could get one of these bats, and being the enterprising young man that he is, he came up with the idea of, well, maybe I can make some of these bats and sell them and provide some relief and give back to the community. So he actually took a lot of the fallen limbs and fallen trees from that devastating derecho that hit Iowa, and took some of that those fallen tree limbs and stuff, fashioned bats out of it, sold, I don't know, upwards of like 1,500 of these bats, and donated the money to the relief effort for the people who had been devastated by this storm. So Tommy Rhomberg, very, very cool thing that you're doing. Like I do each week on the Derate the Hate podcast, I love to point out, ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and this young man, Tommy Rhomberg, is obviously one of those people. Just an ordinary youngster, 12 years old, has some skills and decided to put them skills and some great ideas into action, and was able to give back to those people that were affected by that storm. So, way to go, youngster! You're doing great things, and it's a beautiful thing what you're doing. And obviously, you've got a very bright future ahead of you. So, I will put that link to that story in the show notes. And as always, please, if you see a story that maybe didn't make the national news or didn't get enough attention, and you think it's something that I'd like to see, I would love to hear it. Whether I use it on the show or not, I love good news stories. So hit me up on one of the social media platforms that I do use. Send me a message, send me a private message with a link to the story. I'd love to see it. If I use it on the podcast, I'll most likely send you a free gift, and we can go from there. So with that, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What have you done today to make your life a better life? What have you done today to make the world a better place? When you get out there, when you get out amongst the people, maybe you're on lockdown right now. The holidays are coming up. Maybe you can't be with the people that you love. Maybe you're going to do it anyway. But when you get out amongst the people, be kind to one another. Be grateful for everything that you've got. And remember, it's ultimately up to you to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. So from all of us here at Wilkes World, I do want to express just an unbelievably heartfelt thank you for all the support that we're getting. Thank you very much. I'm going to back on out of here now, and we will catch you next week. Thank you very much.